Good evening, everyone. At this time, I will open the regularly scheduled committee meeting for the Village of Midlothian, Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022, at 7 p.m. Roll call, please. Clerk Moskal.
Trustee Caveney?
Here.
Trustee Crowley?
Here.
Trustee Hilly?
Here.
Trustee Ivan?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Killily?
Here.
Mayor LaRue?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Liz, would you like to wait for your partner, or?
I can, or I can get us rolling, either way.
Okay.
Whatever you prefer.
It's up to you.
Yeah, we can wait a little bit.
Okay, we'll go on, and as soon as she comes in, we'll go back. All right, at this time, I'll open the floor to public comment. Is there any public comment tonight? You should take numbers. We should have like one of the little number things.
Mine will be quick. First of all, I want to say thank you to MPD. Monday, we all read the press release of the car chase, and I just want to let you guys know, the residents immensely appreciate it. And we need to be vigilant. If you see something, say something, because we have to let these criminals know this is not the place, and we're not going to tolerate it. So you guys did a fantastic job, and everybody appreciates it. Trustee Caveney, thank you
Yes.
very much for replying to information about Popeyes.
You're welcome.
It's very appreciated. Glad to hear that they are sanitized and good to go.
Yes.
And hopefully maybe some improvements to come. Do we know what's going to happen with the following three properties? Associated Counseling, I've called there. The building looks empty, so I called to see if it was, and the phone number's disconnected, and there's no one in that building.
Yes, they moved out and currently marketing the property.
Okay.
Actually, Clerk Moskal and I have been kicking some ideas around about
Okay.
some other type of.
Now, is that part of, because it's so close to the creek, is that part, because I know that building is pretty old on the inside. I mean, that's literally right on top of the creek.
Yeah.
Is it part of they can't do improvements because,
That's
I
not
was
a,
told it's not in the flood zone.
not, okay,
And it doesn't have a
perfect.
basement.
I think it's the Moran building. It's that turquoise, not turquoise, I'm sorry, brick-colored building. That's empty too?
that was the transmission headquarters.
Yes.
For that company, and
Right.
they consolidated, moved somewhere else.
Right.
I know that Superintendent Weiner had gotten somebody that was kind of interested in it, but nothing since. It's been a while.
Are they marketing it?
They must be, because
Okay.
someone inquired about another type of business.
Okay, good. And the Old Dummies Lounge, is that being marketed?
That I don't know.
Okay. That's just empty. All right.
Want to buy
thank
it?
you. Not that one, no. Thank you.
All right. Jean?
I just wanted to say the beautification committee is meeting on Tuesday, March 10th at 7:15 at the Historical Society. We have a really full agenda and a lot to cover. We will be taking out the Christmas screens hopefully this weekend. And unfortunately, over by where Flower Nook and down there, only one light remained. Somebody got sticky fingers and decided they liked the lights that much and they wanted to take them home with them. But we figured we might lose a couple, so we were okay with that. But hopefully we'll get all that taken off this weekend because it's gonna be nice.
Good deal. Okay. Did you hear me honk at you? Did you hear me honk at you when you were working in front of the messenger?
Yeah, whatever you I waved at anybody that marked.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Then I'll close the floor to public comment, and we'll move on to our presentation tonight. We very pleased to have the South Suburban Land Bank here, Liz Castaneda and I don't know his name. What's his name?
This is my CEO,
Bo
Bo Kemp.
Kemp?
So I only have 8 hard copies, so
You
one
don't-
for all of you,
you don't- okay.
and then you two will have to
Thank you.
I appreciate
Well,
that.
welcome, and
Hi, how are you? Good. Thank you.
thanks, sir.
So I'll get started. So, good evening. Thank you to Trustee Killily for inviting us to come here. Thank you all of you for letting us speak with you today.
Sure.
So we have a brief slide deck that we're going to go through relatively quickly so that there's enough time for you to ask any questions you might have, and for you to all get through the rest of your very full agenda. So the purpose of us coming here today is to update you all on what we've been up to for the last 8 or 9 months or so, and to lay out what the long-term partnership is going to be between the South Suburban Land Bank and the South Suburban and the Southland Development Authority, and also to start a dialogue with you all to sort of figure out how we can be a helpful and productive partner with you all moving forward and the goals that you have for the Village of Midlothian. So if you want to flip the page, so we'll just spend a minute on background, and then slide number 4 is an infographic that we like to share because we think it's a nice, clean representation of how a land bank takes a highly distressed property and turns it into a nice place for someone to either live or do business. So normally this is in color, but those 4 shades on the bottom of those arrows show the trajectory of a single property from the first stage, which is you call us up saying, hey, there's this problem property, can you do something about it? All the way up until it's been sold, it's been rehabbed, there's someone living in it again, it's back on the tax rolls, everybody's happy. So first what happens is you do that call, and then next, in that second little tranche, you have the unit of local government like yourselves that decide that, you have a private owner, they're not paying their taxes, the property is going under, it's distressed, it's bringing down the neighbor's property values, and so you guys have probably racked up a number of liens for grass cutting and things like that, and so then the next stage comes around where you decide to file foreclosure on the property for unpaid taxes or court enforcement liens, and it's at this point that the municipality usually asks itself, in what circumstances do I want to hold this property myself? Or in what cases would I want to leverage the land bank to do that and mitigate that risk? And so all of the bullet points that you see in that third tranche, where it has bullet points of where it says the land bank will. Those are points of costs and risk that a municipality can bear and a land bank bears. And depending on the opportunity versus of an individual property, some properties have a higher sale potential and redevelopment potential than others, as you all know. That sort of factors into your cost benefit analysis of whether it's worth the village doing it versus whether it goes on to a land bank, because the land bank exists because we have the economy of scale that allows us sort of take on a greater level of risk because we share all of our costs and our risks throughout the Southland. So we just have that broader geography. And so in many cases, the unit of local government is not equipped to, or they simply don't want to be a real estate developer, a lot that goes along with it. So they say, hey, land bank, can you take care of this for us? And so that's when we come in. The land bank has the power to clear the title, wipe away all the liens, clear out all the taxes, make it a blank slate, and then get it on the open real estate market, sell it to a responsible end user, who then gets it back on the tax rolls, renovates it, all of that good stuff. And so if you want to flip the page again, just a quick snapshot of the South Suburban Land Bank's history. So it was founded in 2012 through an IGA between Blue Island, Oak Forest, and Park Forest. It was the first of its kind in Illinois. Actually, it was even before the Cook County Land Bank, even though they're much, much bigger than us for right now. It was initially funded through a grant from SSMMA. And by 2019, its membership footprint expanded to 24 municipalities, including Midlothian. There's some that are outside of Cook, but by and large, it's a suburban Cook, South Suburban Cook thing. And there was a full-time staff of 2, which was the executive director and a project manager. And those 2 people, those 2 full-time people ran the land bank for some 7 years. And then by this past summer, the previous management had fully transitioned off the land bank and the South Suburban Land Bank's board, rather than seeing the land bank dissolve, asked my CEO over here, Bo, hey, can the Southland Development Authority do something with the land bank? And so we took over the day-to-day operations of the South Suburban Land Bank in July, and we've been working with both the Southland Development Authority Board and the South Suburban Land Bank Board to collectively devise a good long-term solution for keeping the land bank's powers in use in the south suburbs. And so since assuming control, we've been working with member municipalities on a lot of bigger strategic development projects. We've been working with Richardson Park on their Metra TOD. We've been working with the city of Harvey on a number of projects. And we're doing these sorts of things in our effort to establish relationships, both with the member municipalities and also with big development partners that can sort of bring those big developments to the Southland. So real quick, flip the page. This is just a slide of all the current members, 28 total, a couple of outliers, but you know. So if you flip again, then this is a snapshot of how South Suburban Land Bank comes into ownership of its properties and how members typically go about giving them to us. The vast majority, 75%, are through abandonment. That is a legal statute where a local unit of government is able to seek title to a property if there are more than 2 years of unpaid taxes, 2 years of unpaid water bills, and if the village can demonstrate that there is dangerous and hazardous conditions at the property. The other ways that you see here are deed in lieu of foreclosure, where a land bank, through its attorneys, works with the current owner of the property to give, we work with them to give up the property rather than go through the whole rigmarole of an actual foreclosure case. We just say, why don't you just give it to us? And this issue will be gone. And then the final 10% are direct purchase, where the land bank would cut a check for a property, much like anybody would buy any property, or someone just donates it to us. But by and large, it's abandonment that we get the most of our properties, because unfortunately, there's no shortage of those in the south suburbs. If you flip again, so this is a slide that gives you an approximation of how long it takes to get from the I have a problem property, can you do something with it, all the way to it's sold. So overall, the process takes about 9 months to a year, sometimes more, sometimes less. The court process takes the vast majority of that time. And then along the lines of each of those 7 steps in that little ladder that you see is a different level of cost and risk to the municipality. Because we work for all of the member municipalities, we share that expense among them. And so the way to assess whether it makes more sense for you versus us to do it is to assess the risk, which is, you know, how much would you spend in legal just to find out that you can't actually buy it because the owner is still present, or how long would it sit on the market and how much money would you rack up, you know, continuing to insure it and cutting the grass and things like that. So again, like what the land bank does is we help you mitigate that risk, because that is a thing that is not on your books. It is something that is on our books, and we're handling it. And so let's flip again. And so, you know, even in the most distressed communities in the south suburbs, we know that there's a ton of assets and opportunities that can be unlocked. So municipalities that partner with the South Suburban Land Bank can tap into these opportunities. They get access to greater coordination and fiscal investment when they partner with us. The Southland Development Authority, we have the institutional ability to amass significant resources all at once. And the land bank, again, has that ability to tolerate a higher level of risk than a single municipality might be able to take on its own. And I'm gonna flip one more time. And so then for some of the big old manufacturing plants that are in the south suburbs with lots of expensive environmental issues that might need to be remedied, assembling large tracts of land for the Amazons and the Walmarts that are coming to this area, big industrial developments that are popping up, you know, whether a municipality is highly distressed or whether it's got a steady real estate market, but it still has those pesky few problem properties that plague it. And, you know, problem properties that can only be rehabilitated and put back on the tax roll through governmental powers that the South Suburban Land Bank has. We are here to help municipalities reach their goals. So South Suburban Land Bank gets the title to those problem properties. We eliminate the outstanding taxes, the liens, the liabilities, clean slate, we reactivate them, we develop them, we sell them. In some cases, they're not able to be sold and we demolish them. And we do all that to support local priorities and increase the village's development potential. And so, as we touched on the slide before, you know, there's a lot of wealth in the Southland. It's just a matter of unlocking it. Let me pull up here. What's my speaking notes? Here we go. So, you know, as I said, municipalities have those holding costs when developing properties themselves versus when you partner with the land bank. We minimize those costs. You know, we will be in Harvey. So the example we like to give when we talk about the assets that are currently sort of frozen in these abandoned properties that are stuck, zombie title. In Harvey, the city identified about 2,600 vacant structures just in the city, assuming like a quarter of those need to be demolished because they're too far gone. But the other 1,900 could be rehabilitated for use, averaging like $100,000. That's $200 million of wealth generated in Harvey alone. So you can see that the opportunities are huge here, and it's just a matter of unlocking those assets. And so that is kind of what we are here to do. That, you know, I told you that it was going to be a brief presentation. It was a lot of information I threw at all of you, but we wanted to leave enough time if any of you all had questions as well.
I think you made two good points. We don't want to be real estate agents, landowners. We don't have the staff, we don't have the resources, the knowledge. So we thank you for being in existence and everything that you've already done for Midlothian and the previous land bank. And the other one you brought up, you know, the cost of us going after a property, the legal cost, and just to find out that it's not really abandoned, there is an owner there,
Yep.
and that has happened here. You know.
It happens to us on occasion as well, but, you know, we have the ability to absorb that a little better. Yeah.
And how many questions does that cover? Trustee Keagney.
One quick question, with regards to the requirements. Do the properties have to meet all of the requirements or just 2 out of the 3? I'm trying to find the page that the requirements is on.
For abandonment?
For abandonment.
I believe
What
it's
page is
just,
that on?
yeah, I believe it's just 2 out of the 3. Generally, if a property is
Oh, here.
really abandoned and really in really bad shape, the taxes are usually delinquent, and or I mean, it's usually not an issue, meeting those 2 criteria.
Okay, so it doesn't have to meet all of these bullet points, just abandonment for 2 years and unpaid taxes?
That's right.
Okay, what about vacant land?
Same thing. If there's 2 years of I mean, obviously, it's, you know, you don't have a dangerous and hazardous structure. So yeah, the 2 years of unpaid taxes is enough to trigger.
And the village has been cutting the grass and maintaining it, so.
Yeah.
So we can do, okay, very good. If you don't mind, I will be reaching out to you guys tomorrow, because I was working with Trustee Killily to assemble our list that you had received from the mayor.
Great.
So I do have a couple questions. I won't bore everybody with that.
Okay, wonderful.
I'll just add one quick point to that, which is, even though the vacant land itself may not have an unsafe structure, it may be a depository for dumping and other things, which also would characterize it as unsafe. So it doesn't have to have a structure on it in order to be considered unsafe.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
So I have a question too. My question is, so we recently developed a new TIF area, and we are in the process of trying to, you know, come up with a plan and redevelop, and there are some properties in that TIF area that may qualify. My question is, if we partner up, is there a way or is there a process that we can, I'm going to use what my terms are, have some sort of redevelopment agreement in place so that when you guys do acquire and sell the property, that it's to someone who has the same vision for that property that the village would, so we don't get into a situation where someone buys a piece of property and then comes to us with a plan that's not in that area.
Sure. So short answer, yes, absolutely. What the South Suburban Land Bank does, we have a very close relationship with all of our member municipalities, and whenever we get offers on properties that are for sale, we are running them past the appointed municipal rep. So for instance, today I had a few different offers for a property in Park Forest. I assembled all of them, I sent them on to the municipal rep, but I said, here are some offers that have come in for 123 Main Street. Here's what I think. Please review these at your convenience and let me know what your thoughts are. And so, the village is always very much involved in that process, and it's not like you turn the keys over and then we can do whatever we want. It's our mission to make sure that we are helping our members meet their development goals.
We're a member organization, so we represent you, so we're not gonna do something that's contradictory to what you as a village would like to do. But to the second point of your question, because of the partnership between the land bank and the SDA, we actually are working really hard to think broader and more kind of long-term about redevelopment. So not just an individual property, but it might be that there are, let's say there are 15 properties in an area, 6 of which maybe we own as a land bank on your behalf. But you want to think about that whole 15 area space. We are working directly with you to do that, in fact. And we've had some opportunities because of the scavenger sale and holiday sale to take place to be more strategic about making sure that we're aggregating property that's around areas where we know what municipality wants to do development. And part of our goal is to actually bring other resources to the table. So the benefit of actually combining the land bank and the SDA, the Southland Development Authority, is that we've got people that are writing grants, that are trying to think more strategically, and that's something that we can do in concert with you. That might even include things like going after money for roads that be around those 15 individual properties that you're looking to develop, in anticipation that down the road you want to develop X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be.
Okay, excellent.
So I'm going to ask about the 14723 Honda building. What's going on with that? I think the board should know.
Yes, I have some cheat sheet about that. 1 second. So, to my knowledge, 14723 Pulaski was 2 pins. So the first one, we already have a pending abandonment petition for one of the pins underway. So its initial status hearing is set for St. Patrick's Day. So that one's in the process, it's rolling. The other pin for 14723 Pulaski is actually not part of the abandonment case that we recently filed because it's under different ownership with a 2019 tax deed. And so at the time, it was not eligible for abandonment. However, we can still pursue a separate case for that one, and we can investigate the different avenues that we can do to also get control of that property. And so if that's something that you all are interested in, we can start pursuing that with our law office.
I'm also looking at the email that you sent to the mayor or to Don with regards to this.
Yes.
And that same pin, it says here that you were able to bid on it at the scavenger sale, which I was surprised to see because I scoured that scavenger list that we got from the county treasurer and didn't come up, I couldn't find the Honda properties on it.
Huh.
The Honda building, and what's so confusing about the Honda building was, for whatever reason, its original pin, and I'm not sure if Don was able to share this information with you, but I did some digging last year, and the original pin on that building was vacated or canceled or something,
Yep.
and it has 2 new pins.
Mhm.
And if you look on the old pin had listed an old mortgage that went into foreclosure. There was a Liz Pendens filed,
Mhm.
but the foreclosure, I guess, never went through, and then somehow that pin went away, and there's 2 new pins. So did you file for abandonment on both of those pins on the building, or just one? That's what I'm kind of confused about.
So, yeah, the 2 pins, so the old one, the 041 pin, is the one that we did file the abandonment petition on. The other pin, what was it, 007 or something like that?
Here, on your email, it says 041 pin, you also did, you bid at the scavenger sale.
Because that one was on the scavenger sale list, the other pin was not. So I think it's just one of those weird things. If you want, I think a good,
Maybe there was an updated scavenger list that we didn't get, because the list that you had was, I'm sure it was a month or two old by the time the scavenger sale rolled around.
I saw it
So-
on the- I
So
saw it
that
on the
was actually
scavenger.
last year's scavenger sale.
I saw it on the scavenger.
Okay,
the
well,
scavenger sale is
But-
every
but
3
the-
years, the annual sale obviously is every year.
The big,
then
the
maybe
big,
I missed it then.
the big thing
Okay.
is the pin is actually owned as the parking lot. That,
Well, there's 3 parking lot pins.
right, and that's,
And I don't think
That's-
that the parking lot pins have delinquent taxes, only the
right,
building.
right. So, but it's the same gentleman,
Yes.
that's owned by the same company or gentleman who wants if you acquire the building, that he wants that to be conveyed to him, at a price, so he can redevelop it.
Okay, but if he already, this is my issue.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I
okay.
think,
We'll
I
have
think
that
what would be a good,
conversation
yeah, I think
privately.
would be a good follow-up is, you, me, and then our attorneys can actually connect about this and start a
Okay.
new thread about
Okay.
it, and they can start talking us through all of the different avenues that we might have to reach the end goal, which is to get control of the property.
Right,
Right, okay.
okay, so it's
Okay.
basically an abandonment process.
Partially. Most likely, but if abandonment is not an eligible tool for all of it, then we'll try to go after the rest of it in another way.
Okay.
More than one way to skin the cat.
I just got a quick question here, just so I understand this a little bit better. It's one pin for the whole building, or is it more than one pin for the building?
I
I think
believe
it's 2.
the
yeah.
building, you guys would know better than me.
The building is 2, I think.
The building is 2.
They split it into 2 pins. I'm not sure how or why. It used to be under 1 pin. Now it's under 2 pins. But the parking lots are 3
3.
separate pins.
So a total of 5, okay. Thank you.
Right. And the village, I don't know, have we done any maintenance over there or no? No, we were able to contact somebody and rattle their cage and send them a citation or a warning, and they came over and cleaned up the mess in the parking lot, but, so.
How often do you is this once a year you go after these abandonments, or is it throughout the year?
It's throughout the year.
Okay.
Whenever a village, whenever a municipal member says, "Hey, we got a new list for you. Do you have the bandwidth?" We say, "Yeah, bring it on." That's the way that we keep the land bank's lights on, is through the proceeds of those sales.
And
And so,
you should hold back, if you've got properties that come up, bring them to us, and we will, go after them right away. What does happen less frequently is a chance for us to think more strategically about development where you're aggregating more properties. But the one-offs are the ones that you should just bring our way as soon as they come up.
What about residential property? We do have a list of residential properties here in town that would be potential. I know that you worked with Don in the past on 1 or 2 residential properties in town. We have a list.
yeah, we certainly do residential. We try to focus as much as we can on commercial and industrial, because it's the belief of us that if you mend the economy, then it helps mend the residential structure itself. But residential is certainly a very big part of the land bank's portfolio, and will continue to be, because we go where the distress is, and residential is certainly a part of that.
Well, we got your number.
Does Bo want to say anything more about SDA?
Well, I'm happy to, although she's
Yeah.
doing a fantastic
Oh, and
job.
I forgot to mention about the SDA and tie that all together. So, Bo, why don't you do it? Yeah.
Because I know you've got a long meeting, but the Southland Development Authority was started just a couple of years ago, 2019. I was actually part of the team that was brought in to evaluate how to create an economic development entity like the Southland Development Authority prior to its existence. I've had the chance to do this in multiple places around the country. I was the initial co-chair along with Diane Williams, who is the chair, and then became the CEO just recently. The goal of our entity is to foster long-term economic growth throughout all of the municipal cities, towns, and villages in the Southland. And that's kind of broad, right? So it includes residential, commercial, industrial. It includes us thinking about infrastructure. It includes us thinking about workforce and all of the things that are necessary in order to help growth in the area. So to the extent that you, as a village, have issues or concerns or thoughts that we can participate in as the Southland Development Authority, we're eager to actually engage with you in that capacity as well. We always were intended to be partnered and kind of cousins with the land bank. Because of some of the things that happened last year, we've become, live-in cousins now. So we work very, very closely together. But it actually adds a real benefit to what we're doing, because we think about development opportunities and long-term on the Southland Development Authority side. And because the land bank is a member organization, it has the authorities and powers that you would have as a municipality to actually make a lot of these things happen. So I'm happy to talk in much more depth about what we've done. I just mentioned one other thing. Because of a lot of the work that we got started during COVID, a lot of our efforts have been really around businesses in the area. And we've had a chance to work very closely with a number of Midlothian businesses over the course of the last 2 years as they were trying to figure out how to adjust to a COVID economy and other things. And we're excited about continuing that partnership.
We truly, truly appreciate it. Those of us that live in the Southland and are on governments in the Southland, we've always felt that we've been left out and overlooked. And again, I said earlier, we don't have the resources to do these things. So it's very important for us to continue this relationship and try to get some things done. This Honda building has been vacant for,
Way too long.
Sure.
And a prime location on top of it.
right.
Right.
Now, we do have our issues in our downtown is parking. If those other pins don't come with the building, there's no parking for the new
Right.
business.
That's a pretty typical issue. That doesn't mean it's easy to solve, but it's not an unusual issue for any municipality that's dealing with downtown and having to address the issues of parking. And there are some creative things, and we're more than happy to come back and share with you some of our experiences and things that we've done here in Southland and other places that might be of use to you.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you very
coming out.
much.
Thank you.
All right, then we'll move on to trustee business. Trustee Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I sent an email to the board yesterday regarding a quote we've received from Ryden, which is the company that produces our vehicle stickers, the motorcycle stickers, and the pet tags. I'd like to begin the process of moving this annual project forward in terms of having the board approve the invoice. The invoice I know is out of date, but Jackie Harris called the company this morning and said the invoice is still valid. So for 9,000 vehicle stickers, 100 motorcycle tags, and 700 pet tags, it would cost the village $4,675 to create them. Then they would be sent to Third Millennium as our vendor to then distribute them once someone purchases the stickers or the tags for their pets. So I'd like to make a motion, well, see if there's any discussion, and then make a motion to bring it to the board next week for approval so that we can get this paid, because our goal is to get it to the company by April 1st, so they could create all of them, so they could become available May 1st for sale, because that's when we start the season of stickers and tags.
Is that dollar amount fairly in line with what we paid them?
Yes, I checked with Jackie, and it's the same amount that we paid for last year.
Wow.
When was this email sent?
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't get it.
When did you send it? I didn't get it. I didn't get it either.
Really? I got it yesterday? Did you send it
Because
yesterday?
you guys aren't following the board group in your inbox.
Did you create a group for the board?
I don't think I got it either.
I did. We all got it that are following it in our inbox.
If you like,
We can discuss that after the meeting if you'd
Yes.
We
like to.
can again.
If you'd like
I
to
can
Fix that
give
for
you
me, I
a
appreciate
quick
it.
tutorial. If
Yeah.
you go into it, you could slide the on button.
No. Just make sure it gets sent in regular email, for Christ's sake.
It is regular email.
It is regular
It's
email,
a
just
group,
like
so
group.
nobody gets left off, like has happened before, so we created a group, so it would go
Got it,
directly
yeah.
to
Well,
all
if we
board.
were a group,
If
we
you
would've
choose
gotten it.
not to follow it in your email, you can just check in your groups and it'll be there.
We discussed this last time, and I forgot to have you show me how to
Me
do
too.
it. Thank you.
All right, so any objections to putting this on the agenda for approval?
No.
Well, I don't have the information.
$4,675.
Yeah, but I don't have any of the detailed review or
9,000
anything.
stickers.
I
Or to
don't
check
have
with my
it.
department head on.
Oh, I do see now, now that I look on a computer and not my phone, I do see the board group. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it
Now I
requires a
see it.
computer to look at them too?
I'm not sure. I see it now, though. Thank you.
I have no objection to it.
I have no objection.
Okay. Consent agenda?
And Carl, I will personally send you the email so that you personally have it in your village email, so this way you can review it. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Well, I would personally appreciate it then. Thank you so much.
I can do that. So one other thing that, it was interesting that Jackie sent me was from Third Millennium. And in terms of, last year, we sold 8,509 vehicle stickers. However, we have, that's how many vehicles we have in town, so we sold 7,138, but 1,371 were not purchased, which I thought was interesting. 17% of all the vehicles registered in Midlothian are not purchasing their vehicle stickers. As a source of income, we are losing an opportunity. 30 times 1,700, I'm not good at math, but something that we should probably talk about in the future is to what strategies and how can we be creative to get everybody to pull their fair share and purchase their vehicle stickers.
Do you have a list of the vehicles that are registered in Midlothian that have not bought the sticker?
That, I haven't had a chance to talk to Jackie about that, I'm not sure.
That's the problem.
I know she said that there's a list from the state, Secretary of State's office, she said, but it may not be accurate.
That was our problem in the
That's the
past.
problem.
We bought it. We bought the list before, and it
Okay.
wasn't accurate.
Okay,
And-
but I just
and-
thought it was interesting to bring to the board's attention that 1,700 people potentially are escaping.
So I think too, one of the things that doesn't take into account is that, there's people's cars who die and they're abandoned, or they're junked. People move out of town, even out of state, and they don't change their registration right away. Their kids take it to college. But I know we could probably compare that to at one point, I think we were talking about comparing it to the number of tickets that go out after that to see, because I think that number then does change after a while once people start getting excited for it.
Even if you take out a third, say, for standing for the very reasons you
Right.
said, that's still a significant number of people not paying for their village stickers.
Yeah, over 1,000.
Yeah, and that doesn't count pets and motorcycles and stuff like that, but I just found the data interesting, and I just wanted to share it, to make you aware that, I don't know if this is commonplace with other municipalities, but I thought it was kind of interesting.
So why are we waiting?
Why are we waiting for what? I don't
Why are we waiting to find out the efficacy of that figure? I mean, we're in March and the vehicle stickers go out in June.
Well, we
May
don't
first.
get a list of
Time.
who, we don't,
Well, okay, but I'm just
we'd
saying.
have to purchase the list from the
Right.
Secretary of State, as I remember the
Right,
last
right,
time. and
exactly.
It was like $500.
Yeah, it
Right,
was. it
but I mean,
was-
for me, it'd be interesting to see how close to the truth, or how, to the best of our knowledge, if we can nail down, because last time we did it, it wasn't good. I mean, that's for
It
sure.
was bad.
It was
A lot of
bad.
bad data.
So, I mean, I'd like to see if it got better. If it got better, let's see what we can do to improve enforcement, or not only enforcement, but, how can we send these people, apparently they're not getting them, or they're ignoring them, or whichever it is. I'd like to find out which that is mainly. If they're not getting them, I think we can improve our luck here.
So can I ask a question? When we bought the list last year, if we compared that list to the list of addresses or vehicles that we have on our village computer system, we know people come and buy those, did we send a letter out to those other people to say, hey, you're on the Secretary of State list, this vehicle's on the Secretary of State list? Let us know if you still own it and come and buy a sticker, or let us know if you've sold it, and we'll,
That wasn't last year. It was
No.
years-
Yeah,
It was years ago.
okay. So how would we do that, though?
We
Like
could
to
buy,
Sandy's
we could
point.
buy a list from the Secretary of State.
Right, but knowing that, if we already know that the list isn't 100% accurate, how do we don't want to send people citations on accident if they sold a car, but,
Well, and to that point.
yeah.
chief would have to drive around and look for 9,000 cars.
Yeah.
Right,
And-
exactly.
So
and
what we tried.
Now, we
Right.
could increase manpower by about 40% to accommodate that if everybody wanted to do that, but I don't think
Not
that's.
that you would mind.
Yeah,
It's not going unaddressed anyway, I mean, just.
right,
because
that's what I'm
Right.
trying to get to.
A certain amount of people haven't bought them, doesn't mean that those people aren't getting those citations. I can
Right.
assure you, I don't
Exactly.
have the numbers because I didn't know this was gonna be a topic tonight, but they're writing thousands of no village sticker tickets a year. And then most of those end up being repeat offenders, and, you know, we've had talks before where people are looking for settlement agreements because they're now in collections for $30,000 to $50,000 because they received so many citations over the years that's compounded with fees and all of that. So I can assure you, I can have the numbers for our next meeting, but we write thousands of those tickets every year.
To
So
trustee,
chances are we are catching those people that are falling in
Odds are.
that gray area. We're,
to trustee Caveney's point, there is the option for the village to send a form, a letter, just as you said, and providing in it the defenses to not having one. Your car has been moved, you've changed, and they just check one off and they can send it
Right.
back. And then the rest who don't respond, at least will be on notice, and then we can make a decision as to whether we want to send them a citation in the mail.
Right, we're updating our records.
Well,
Right.
again, the problem was that the format it came in was so terrible when we tried to manipulate it in a
Right.
Excel.
Right.
It just
Didn't
didn't
work.
work.
Right.
So that's the only way we need that form, that information in a certain form so we can compare it to our data. And
Right.
it just wasn't working.
But
So-
Third Millennium does theoretically work with that all the time, so maybe Third Millennium could tell us if that database is, you can put it at least in alphabetical order or
Right, but
something.
then we're spending all of that fees to figure out the list, to then mail it out, to then possibly, while we already have people that are citing, I just feel like we're continuing to throw good money after bad.
It sounds like you have pretty good enforcement, so, on the scoff laws.
yeah.
And I wasn't even talking about tickets or judging
No,
like
no,
the police
that's-
department. I just got this data today, and I thought it was kind of interesting. Obviously it's flat, I can't drill down into it, why 17?
And that's kind of what I assume you guys were talking about, possible enforcement mechanisms or spending money to try and identify these things that to me, it might not be cost beneficial to do it when we have X amount of police officers out there writing them anyway.
And
so-
spending $500 for a list
That's
that's
not
not
right.
accurate
Right,
Or that you can't use, it's not
is,
formatted.
Right.
to me, doesn't seem like a good use of money
right.
for that, but.
But I'll have them for you next Wednesday, I'll tell you how many we wrote in 2021.
Okay.
So,
And maybe it becomes an educational opportunity that we get out through the website or through the pages saying, you have to have your village sticker. It's not fair to everybody
And the new
else.
electronic sign out front.
That too. And that's all I have tonight, sir.
Thank you. Trustee Ivan.
Thank you, Mayor. The first thing I want to talk about is, has the board changed its policy on notification of, or just the material that we're going to discuss in this type of meeting? Is it still do we still have that time frame, or have we pushed that aside?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Specific?
Well, in the past, there was a certain time frame where we had to present the information that we're going to present at this meeting earlier. So it'd be like the Friday before or the Monday before. I forgot the exact date.
Monday.
I
It
didn't
was the
know-
Monday before, right?
Yeah.
So I just was wondering if that's changed or not.
That is not.
I didn't think that we had to present information if we were just discussing it, only if we were going to vote on it. I thought we could discuss anything at the board meeting as long as
At
it
a
was a
committee
vote.
meeting.
I mean,
That's
at a
correct.
committee meeting.
That is true.
Because I've done that a number of times. If I get something late, I hand it out and talk about it, so people at least know about it, but we're not voting on
And
it.
sometimes things come up on a Wednesday afternoon that I want to bring up.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
The idea is to prevent that from being brought up at the board meeting
For a
without
vote.
any prior
For vote,
information.
Right,
Not,
for vote.
for this, it's, let's throw some stuff out there, and I have a couple things tonight that I
Me
just
too.
got this afternoon.
Right.
So,
Okay. I just wanted to, get clarity
The
on it.
answer is no.
Thank you. And the second thing I want to talk about is the department budgets. Everybody's got them now. They're supposed to be turned into the finance department by March 4th. Just as a reminder. once all the budgets are turned in, we'll publish a schedule and distribute them, the budget to all the departments.
I have, I know ours is, Chief will be sending it over tomorrow. And as always, Chief has my schedule for the next couple weeks so that it can be conducive to my schedule as well, because I will be attending ours.
Okay. It's entirely up to your chief to schedule that with the finance department.
He has it.
All right. That concludes everything I wanted to talk about.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Hilly?
After approval of the T-Mobile contract, we were notified they're gonna do not a preliminary, but their actual site inspection next week. So they'll be out, Superintendent Sperry organized that, I think for Wednesday. They'll be out. Also, everyone was emailed separately about the Cook County Block Grant, resolution and I was also notified that Cook County had a problem or a glitch, so all the applications have to be resubmitted. So, Engineer Huss will be here next week for questions on any of that. He is working on it along with Superintendent Sperry and Mary up at the Village Hall, Maria, excuse me, at the Village Hall. So, that's it.
Thank you, sir.
So, did I miss anything? But usually we use that for streets, now we're gonna be using it for water mains?
I think there is both. That specific grant that I sent to you
Right.
was for the main, but there are other
There's
ones.
multiple.
There's multiple grants for sidewalk streets.
Okay.
And Superintendent Sperry did tell me during a conversation last week that Public Works did apply for a grant. I'm not sure which one. I don't know if it's a CBDG or a Invest in Cook or Safe Routes to School grant, but did apply for a grant for sidewalks down Kilbourne from 147th to 143rd where the school is, because that street on both sides, I believe most of that street on both sides is ditches and
Yes, yeah,
no
it is.
sidewalks.
That was
Right.
safe routes to school.
Oh, that was a Safe Routes to School? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And for everyone wondering about the sign, unfortunately, we believe there's a bad PC in it, and the company is coming out tomorrow to look at it, so, things
I
happen.
have nothing to do with this. Nothing.
It worked the first night.
Yeah, we're great.
Bad PC.
Bad PC.
That's one.
There's a PC in there? I don't know. I'm assuming they mean a PC, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but I didn't know they put one in the sign.
Well, they have to,
Some sort of electronic controller was my
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. It was just a controller, not a PC per se. Interesting.
I got the text right here.
Well, I believe you.
I believe you, sir.
All right.
150 degrees.
So anyways, the contract will be out tomorrow, supposedly at 8 AM to try to fix it. Thank you. Trustee Cavey.
Thank you, Mayor. First thing on my list, I quickly just want to touch base again on the event venue ordinance. I know that we had discussed this at a committee meeting back in December. Superintendent Weinert was working on it with our other village attorney, Peter Murphy, and I'm assuming with input from Attorney Valadez as our lead attorney. And Police Department had some comments I believe they turned over for consideration. I had put some comments and questions in there. I just want to double check to make sure that everybody doesn't have any additional comments or questions, because I would like to have the attorney move this forward, get it in final ordinance condition so that we can put it on the agenda next week for approval.
We're good. Okay. I don't know about
So-
anybody else, but we're good.
Well, and
We are good.
I put some comments on there myself last week, but I don't know if, I hadn't gotten any feedback on those, so I don't know if my comments are okay, if they're not okay. I'm not sure. So anyways, I just wanted to bring it up one last time so that we can get it ready and get it on the agenda next week.
And I can let the board know that as soon as the board passes the event venue ordinance, that will have immediate implications on the liquor control ordinance that we're passing, and I will incorporate those descriptions and definitions into the new liquor ordinance.
I do know, let me just say, I do know that we had one concern when the ordinance was initially drafted, it didn't really reference tents at all, so there was some minimal language that was included with regards to tents, and Superintendent Weiner told me that he had conversation with Chief Hotwagner, and Chief Hotwagner was working on a separate, full-blown tent ordinance. Did he make you aware of that, Don?
No.
Okay,
And
so,
just to let you know that under the new ordinance, the issue of.
which new ordinance? My
the
ordinance or the liquor
ordinance,
license?
under the
Okay.
new liquor ordinance.
Uh-huh.
Any issues with alcohol under tents will be moved because they will be addressed.
Okay, very good. All right, so I will, if you and I, Attorney Valadez, can have a brief conversation sometime tomorrow, just to go over everybody's comments, to make sure that we're all clear, so we can get the document finalized and get it in an ordinance format with the number and the pretty cover, front page and all that, so we can get it on the agenda for next week.
I can have Mr. Murphy available for that
Oh.
since he's the one who drafts it.
Very good, thank you. Next item is, I attached on the agenda is the Amazon quote. I brought this up last week for discussion. The village building department is ready to purchase 2 tablets for our inspectors to use out in the field. The price that's listed here is $2,872. That includes the purchase of 2 tablets and all of the accessories that are listed in the quote. Plus, it also includes the $300 per device for Proven to set those tablets up with the required software and stuff to make it connected to the village. And also, the village, we will be buying 2 Verizon hotspots for a cost of $75 a month for the 2 of them, so that the tablets will be powered out in the field. So I'm making a motion to approve this budgeted purchase.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Does it include it has all the programs that they need in like Microsoft Word, I mean, it has all.
Yes.
Their licenses.
The reason I ask is, that's probably a really good price, because just that program is like $600.
So it doesn't include that. Our Office 365 package allows each user to download it onto 5 different machines. This will be one of the machines they download it onto.
Perfect. I couldn't believe it.
Plus all our software will go in there from permitting software, et cetera.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please. Clerk Moscow.
Trustee Cavey?
Aye.
Trustee Crawley?
Aye.
Trustee Hilly?
Aye.
Trustee Ivan?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Killily?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
I got just I'm sorry, but a thought occurred to me while sitting here. When you guys bring the tablets in, how are you going to hardwire them to update your system, or are you just going to walk in and use the Wi-Fi?
You use all from the field and the Wi-Fi through the hotspot.
Okay.
Same way that speaking to Superintendent Sperry and Chief Hotwagner, is the same hotspots to go in the top versus program. You use it all wireless, and you don't even have to plug them in at all. Goal here is to keep the inspectors out in the field all day. They
Okay.
come back in here for hours. a day.
But are you going to set up a new hotspot up front for you in order to do that?
No,
Because
this is a hockey puck you get that you plug into your.
oh, okay,
tablet.
standalone hotspot. Okay.
Standalone hotspot.
Thanks.
With government purchase,
Mhm.
and also the security package, so they can't take it home and watch Netflix.
Thank you.
All right.
And the, this Amazon quote includes a 4-year protection plan on the devices as well. And the hotspots they're getting, to his point, are similar to the ones that Public Works uses on their devices out in the field.
Anything else tonight?
Yes, I have one more thing. To Trustee Ivan's point about bringing up information at the last minute. Well, as you know, this is not really a last minute item. Trustee Johnson and I have been working with the village staff up in the front village hall since last October to get file cabinets cleaned out. Trustee Johnson was able to get a scrapper to come and take away several file cabinets. We have 1 or 2 more that need to be removed. A couple of the employees have swapped their seating arrangements already, which has worked out nicely. And the last item was, once we got rid of the file cabinets and knew how much space we had to rearrange things, we were able to finally have the furniture vendor or furniture installer rather, come to Village Hall yesterday at 5 o'clock and walk the space and help us determine if our idea for rearranging the furniture was a good idea. And basically, what's going to happen is up in the front office, the U-shaped desk that Jackie is sitting at right now is going to be relocated over into the building department, and a couple of the panels in the building department are going to be removed because those panels are 5 foot tall. They're going to be removed, so now one of our building clerks will be able to sit at that desk that has the low height wall with the little transaction counter, and will be able to see the front window, whereas right now they can't. They're kind of in the back corner, they can't see when customers come to the window. So now they'll have a visual to the front window, and it'll make their job easier to be able to go up to the front window and work with building department customers that come in. In order to make this work, because this is old furniture, there's no manufacturer name on it. We have no idea what the manufacturer name is, so the furniture installer can't even, to the best of his 40 years of experience, he's not sure what this furniture is either, so he can't even go and scrounge around for parts and pieces. So we are going to have to use one of the 2 foot wide panels from one of the trustee workstations that is in the back. Kathy and I had polled all the trustees several months ago and inquired who still wanted a desk, who did not want a desk, and Trustee Killily and Trustee Ivan had expressed that they still wanted to maintain a desk. So.
I don't mean to interrupt you, I did too.
Pardon?
Kath, me. I said I wanted one too.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
You did?
yeah.
I thought you said you didn't want one.
Yes, that's what I
It's got to be an email somewhere.
Maybe yeah. It's in the lost email group.
Okay.
Really? Really? Everybody should check their emails that I sent out to show you how to do that. That would have probably been the
You know
first
what,
thing.
I do think you're right. I think you talked me out of it and said I get a drawer, right?
Yes, we have.
That's fine. That's fine.
What the
I'm sorry.
plan, the plan is, we have retained a file cabinet. Every trustee will have access to a full-size file drawer,
That's
which
fine.
gives you as much storage as the storage that is in those little trustee
That's
carols
perfect.
right now.
That's
Okay?
perfect.
Everybody
I do
will have
recall
that.
now. I apologize. Sorry.
Trustee Ivan and Trustee Killily will still have assigned desks for themselves, and then we will have 2 additional spots that will both have power so that a trustee or another village employee can come and sit at those desks with their laptop. If they need to plug in, there will be a power source there for them to plug in, and hopefully.
We have a docking station. It's in the mayor's office.
Right, and there will be a docking station available as well. So, because we just had this meeting at 5 o'clock yesterday, we didn't have time to, disseminate all this information to everybody. So this is kind of our basic plan. The Trustee Killily and Trustee Hilly's desk will go away. Trustee Killily and Trustee Ivan will move into my old desk and Kathy's desk, which are the desks along the north wall there. The KMB desk will be vacated, but that's one of the desks that will have power for anyone's use. And then Carl's current desk is a very nice freestanding desk, not attached to anything. So that desk is going to get picked up and moved onto the east wall where Don and Jack's desk is. Because there's power there on the trustee table that's there right now. There's power under there. That power can get pulled back and attached to the east wall so that the new workstation that's going there can get powered up. So that's the plan there. And then Superintendent Weiner was with us yesterday. He visited with the furniture installers, so they have a plan on how that area is going to get rearranged, and that all worked out okay as well. So I don't need to go into that whole level of detail. The cost for this, for the furniture installer and one helper to come, will be $650. I don't have his written quote yet, but I hope to have that within the next couple of days. I will share that with everybody, and I would like to put that on the agenda next week for board approval. The tentative date right now for him to come is a week from Saturday, which is March 12th. He said that it would take approximately a half a day for this work to be done.
I know that I don't think I have anything left up there. I think when I gave it over, my desk over to KMB, I think I took everything, but if there's anything.
I have your business cards.
Just, they're in your desk,
Yes.
yeah. But if I
Don't
need to
order
come and
anymore.
clean anything out, just let me. I know you guys sent out that email about cleaning out everything.
Yeah, so I think that about covers it. One other item that we would like to do is, in the space where Jen and Maggie now sit, we wanted to try to open that up a little bit since the file cabinets, the high-density file cabinets have been moved. We wanted to try to slide Jen's cubicle over a couple of feet, and the furniture installer initially said yes, that wouldn't be a problem, until we discovered that there is an electrical whip behind the file cabinet, and it appears to be maybe powering Jen's workstation, but also powering a light switch that was installed in the fabric panel. Not sure why it was installed that way, but we're gonna ask Joe and Andy if they can take a look at that and see if that can be disconnected. Again, I don't know if that electrical whip is powering the workstation or not, we'll have to double check, but if that electrical can be disconnected and that wall switch can be mounted on the wall and not in the fabric panel, then we will be able to have him slide that over. Initially, he said that, including that work it would be included in his half a day. If he does need to work longer than a half day, I believe their hourly rate was $50 an hour. So we'll put on the agenda for approval the $650 initial fee, and then $50 an hour if they have to work over, the 4 hours because they run into any type of, situation. So does anybody have any questions about this project?
Yeah, do you have like a picture or design of where you're going with this?
Yes, Carl, I sent an email to you, Jack, Don, this morning with 4 photographs in which I showed where people would go, where people would sit. I don't know if you didn't see it this morning.
No, I saw the pictures. I was thinking more along the lines of an architectural kind of layout.
No.
Well, I don't, yeah, I mean,
The
do we
only,
need
the
to
only
spend
thing,
money on an
yeah,
architectural layout?
the only
Oh, no,
furniture.
like pen and ink, draw a picture kind of thing.
Okay,
Little
I'll
box.
scribble something up, but again, Jack and Don's two cubicles are being removed and disposed of.
Kathy, we can always take
Yeah.
a field trip with Carl to show
Right.
him exactly how
Right,
to do it.
and then Carl's desk is getting
'Cause we
moved
did it
over in
with
that
Tom already
spot,
today.
so, and that's it.
Thank
Any
you,
other
ma'am.
questions or
I
concerns?
appreciate all the work you guys are doing. It's been a long time coming. It's, again, a very outdated office environment. I would like to walk in and see everyone. That's just always been, and that's kind of what started this whole thing, is like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, why I have to peek around cubicles and look over the top, and
Mm-hmm.
just open air. I think employees feel better, they're more productive. Anyways, thank you all.
Thank
That's
you.
it?
Yes, but I
Okay.
do reserve the right.
Trustee Killen.
Thank you, Mayor. Fire Department business, firefighter O'Keefe wants to take 2 courses at the Romeoville Fire Academy to be certified as a vehicle machinery operator. That total cost of that will be $1,350. And we'd like to put that on for the next agenda.
It's actually on this agenda for approval.
Oh, it is on the agenda. for
Training
approval.
budget?
Pardon me?
Training budget, do you know?
Training budget it is under the training budget. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve firefighter O'Keefe going to take 2 courses for the total amount of $1,350.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Clerk Maskell.
Trustee Killen.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kibney.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Wait, did you say 1,300?
1,350,
Oh.
550 and 800?
Oh, I just see 500, 550,
Right.
whatever. Okay, it's fine.
Next, we received 2 things today that will be on the agenda for the board meeting. One is that the firefighter who was going to leave to another department left. So we'd like the board to ask the Fire and Police Commission to bring up the next available candidate for a conditional offer of employment. Number 2 would be that the company that has done the maintenance on the fire hydrants forever, Braniff. Their contract is up, so we'd like to ask the board to approve a 2-year contract, and I will send, it's already on the agenda, so the details are on the agenda. So that's all for the fire department. As far as miscellaneous, I'd like to ask the board to consider starting the process to hire a consultant to craft a village downtown center plan. That plan in the past, I think, has cost somewhere around $50,000, probably more now, but it definitely is TIF eligible. I think it's just what everybody knows is that people judge your town by the downtown. And right now our downtown has good people, but it isn't quite cutting it as far as the appearance of it. It was exciting to hear Bo talk about what the SDA does. I think that's the type of help we need. But we'd have to hire a consultant who would craft a plan. The old one is pretty far out of date because it was a TOD type plan, and right now that isn't working at all. But certain elements of it are walkability and so on and so forth are definitely things that can still be in the plan. I'd like to put out a request for proposals then. And I don't know how we would do that. We could borrow some, we could look at the one 20 years ago if we could find it, or maybe Attorney Valdez, you could come up with something?
I believe I could.
Is that your bailiwick?
Or strategic plan?
Comprehensive plan?
Comprehensive plan, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yes, we absolutely need a consultant. We don't have the resources. We don't have the resources to be doing this, but
Right.
Didn't you reach out to Trustee Caveney? Didn't you reach out to Leslie Feemster?
Yes, I did, Mayor. I was just looking up that email to share with everybody. I did reach out to Leslie Feemster last week, and I just sent the email forwarded the email to everybody. She said the statewide planning and research funds SRP grant was just announced. Here's the IDOT-SRP website. She said CMAP's LTA program can fund this too, but it doesn't open until August or September. So do we apply for state funds? Do we wait and apply for a CMAP LTA grant and hope that we get it? There's always a possibility we don't get
I'm
it.
thinking
Or do we spend TIF funds?
we spend TIF funds and we can reimburse the TIF.
Right,
If we
because
get a
right
grant.
now we're in
Oh, okay.
right now we're in the middle of a CMAP project. There's very little chance of
Right.
getting another grant for that until we finish that project.
No, but the SRP grant sounds like it's something that we
Right.
could probably.
SRP from the state?
Yeah, we could probably get.
I was not aware that you could do that, spend TIF funds and then reimburse it with the grant. Okay,
And
so
then,
that's great.
She made it a point that, keep this in your mind too, what would she say, access
Oh,
to
ADA, she said if you
ADA.
complete your comp plan, try to have it include ADA transition plan, a transition plan component. These are required by the feds. So, yeah, I mean, if
So
you want
RFP.
to put out an
for consultant.
RFP, that would be fine.
Attorney Valdez is all over it.
When is that grant due by, Kip?
She said it was just announced, so, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at this again. I perused it quickly.
There's an informational webinar on March 16th.
Mhm.
Applications due on March 30th. Awards announced by July 1st, so we'd have to
Oh, that's
really,
pretty quick.
we'd
Mhm.
really have to,
Yeah, when they put out grants or call for projects, they give you like 3 seconds to get
Yeah.
this stuff done.
Anything else?
I'd be happy to help you work on it too.
Thank you.
I'll take a crack at it too, because
Okay.
some of it,
Awesome. Teamwork.
teamwork.
Anything else?
That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Crowley.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple things tonight. I just want to make a few announcements. First of all, we had a meeting of all of our Independence Day volunteers, and we're moving forward. Everybody, please mark your calendar. June 25th, it's going to be our Independence Day parade. If anybody still would like to volunteer, all they have to do is email me and I can add you to our list. Our Junk in the Trunk is going to be the same day as Mars Day this year, Saturday, May 7th. We have very excited, next Monday, the 7th, we are going to be doing our opening rebids for the new police station. And we had a first review of the liquor ordinance that we've put together so far was done yesterday. We sat down, we were here for about 2 hours and started going over it. Next week we'll do another round. Hopefully next week will be the final review of all the pages and we will be able to submit our recommended draft by the following week. And it was 2.5 hours. It was. And they made me stop, otherwise I would have been there for 7. But I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks I will have a draft ordinance for the board to review. And that is all I have to say. Oh, except for executive session.
Thank you, ma'am. Speaking of parades, the Oak Forest Fla is this Saturday, 11 o'clock
Yes.
kickoff.
Kickoff's at 11.
Trustee Hilly will have the float out there blaring Irish music, so you're all invited to attend. Please show up if you can, ride on float or throw candy or whatever.
Along the parade route,
Yeah,
cheer us on.
yeah, or that, or throw stuff at us.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Attorney?
I have nothing.
Okay. And then I have nothing. Clerk Mosco?
I have nothing tonight, sir.
All right. Then at this time, I am looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
He's not done yet.
You,
Oh,
you
sorry.
forgot the disclaimer.
You paused.
Good Lord.
Sorry.
Looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives, and also to discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the public body.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, closed session. There will be no further business after following closed session.